Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Two Dudes Podcast. I'm Reg.
Hi, I'm Randy.
It's a dinosaur's line.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da.
The king.
Da-da-no, da-da-no, da-da-no. Thank you very much. Da-da-no. Corny be proud.
Help myself. Can't go on.
I'm going extinct.
Impressive, Mr. Hillard. Okay. Anyway, folks, welcome to another episode of the Two Dudes Podcast. And joining us this week is Crickets and Silence, and it's just Randy and Reg.
Solo, baby, solo.
El Solito.
Solo like the Pornhub category.
Is that a category?
I think so. I assume it is. I don't know.
You don't assume nothing. You don't be bashful. You know exactly what you're saying.
The hell's that line from Superman? You ever see a vagina without a dick? Not for me.
Yeah. Just live cam stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, Anyway, folks, welcome to the show. That's how we're going to begin it there with a little bit of Mrs. Doubtfire and some Pornhub.
What better day to have than have Mrs. Doubtfire and Pornhub all on the same day?
Simultaneously.
I'm sure you could probably mix the two. I'm certain there's a video out there somewhere.
Yep. Robin Williams in an old lady costume would rev someone's tractor for sure.
Sure. Look at that bus driver, man. He was going.
All natural, just like God made you.
Like that in a woman.
Yeah. He broke the mold when he made me.
That's sad man.
Yeah, poor guy. Mrs. Doubtfire should just give him a handy just to make him feel better.
She should have. You could hear us talk about that. If we get quick little plug here, patreon.com/2idiots podcast. If you want to hear Reg and I talk about Mrs. Doubtfire for like an hour and a half, it's only probably one of our favorite movies of all time. If we get 5 more patrons that head on over to patreon.com/2idiots podcast and sign up at any level, we're going to release that episode on Patreon.
That's right. And even if you're not into that type of stuff, help support the show. Little as $3 a month or any tier you like. And you get bonus perks and all that. Why don't you quick slide that plug in there?
You like that? I'm listening to all these podcasts lately, and I'm like, man, I got to get better at segueing our shit in here, Got to get my shit in, brother.
I always forget. And then it's like, listen to others, and I'm like, wow, that was a smooth transition. And I don't mind the abrupt ones either necessarily, but go to Patreon and get yourself some Manscaped while you're at it. We interrupt this episode to bring you breaking news. This important PSA is brought to you by Manscaped.com. This is your pubic service announcement and the news you've all been waiting for. The Manscaped engineering team has confirmed that they have successfully created the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, which is now available for purchase in the USA and Canada.
This new trimmer was just released only moments ago, and we're one of the first to get our hands on it and share the news. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code IDIOTS at manscaped.com.
Worldwide. I'm one of the first people to try the new 4.0, and I'm blown away by the performance. The craftsmanship and details on the 4.0 are next level. Honestly, I never thought I would ever be promoting the craftsmanship of a trimmer, but their advanced ceramic blade and skin-safe technology is so good that it almost seems as if Manscaped worked with Elon Musk's engineers to ensure your testes are as safe as possible. It's high praise.
That is high praise. Very much high praise. Now, again, fellas, we've all been there. We've nicked ourselves, and trimming your balls in general, I think it's good. I think it's, keeps the odors down. It doesn't become cumbersome. You don't get tangles. You ever tangle a pubic hair? It ain't fun.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah, it ain't fun, okay? So what makes this trimmer different than all the other trimmers? A new multifunction on-off switch can engage a travel lock created for people who like to travel. The Lawnmower 4.0 gives you the ability to turn on the 4000K This is a bright ass light, people. LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. The new trimmer even allows you to customize your trim all over through additional guard lengths with sizes 1 to 4. And looks wise, it's sleek with a two-tone matte and gloss finish. Even features a hot foil stamped black chrome Manscaped logo. Show that mower off loud and proud, baby.
Yeah, and with those guards, you can get the perfect fade on your your crotch shave. The optimized Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer is waterproof, so you can groom in the shower and not have to worry about making a mess on the bathroom floor. Did I mention wireless charging? I didn't, but here we go. The Lawnmower 4.0's new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, so fancy I can't even say it, which can help the battery length last longer.
If you're still trimming your face with your ball trimmer, it's time to make some changes. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code IDIOTS at manscaped.com. No person wants to end up with pubes in their mouth, and your balls will thank you.
You're welcome, significant others. So treat yourself and the special person in your life by going to manscaped.com, where you get 20% off and free shipping with the code IDIOTS at manscaped.com. That is 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code IDIOTS, IDIOTS. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
Do it.
Yeah, trim them pubs.
Trim them hedges.
Hedges, yeah. Smooth like a baby.
Like a baby's bottom.
Cheers. Cheerio. Pip pip.
I just want to talk English all day because I've been hooked on Line of Duty on Netflix, which is an excellent UK cop drama for anyone who likes police dramas and and all that, especially about internal affairs cops trying to catch other bent coppas.
that literally sounds so British. It's just like pedantic and procedural and going through like the rules and the
Oh, it's excellent. It's so good. They build the tension so well in that show, and all the twists and turns. Like, you never really know who's done what legitimately right up until the last episode.
Wow. They just beat people with a billy club because they don't shoot anybody.
Yeah. It's amazing how many people get arrested on this show and not shot. I mean, a lot get killed too, don't get me wrong, but a lot get arrested.
Yeah. It's weird how that works, that can even be a possibility, hey?
I know, right?
We should probably touch on that a little bit. Derek Chauvin got convicted. Everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
We're a couple of weeks late.
Old news, Reg.
I know, right? But, I still think it's important to touch on and say how important that will be for the future. We've discussed it a bunch that I personally don't subscribe to the all cops are bastards or whatever that hashtag is.
Right.
But the system's broken. And then Dante Wright gets shot when apparently she tried to tase him. But how did you grab the wrong weapon?
A police officer with 25 years of service, former head of the police union, doesn't know that her gun is in her hand and not her taser. Yeah. I don't buy it.
Yeah, it's fishy. But I had a brief almost an argument with my family about that, because I told them, I was like, just let him go.
Yeah.
Like, so he drives away. Catch him again. So fucking what? Why do you have to shoot him? What is the threat right then that you needed to subdue him at all?
Right.
I know it's fundamentally different, and a lot of people will disagree, but it definitely doesn't align with a lot of people's idea of policing or of justice or whatever. But frankly, we need to change that, because he had a warrant out for like smoking a joint when he was 19.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, it was something small.
His plates were expired or something, but he's dead now.
Yeah, I think it was a case of they had said that he had the warrant because he failed to appear in court for that offense, because he had moved or something and it got sent to the wrong address. So he never got the notice, and that's why the warrant was put out.
But still, come on. Like, yeah, he tried to run. Bummer. That happens.
Yeah, it happens.
Was he a threat to those officers? No. Not in my opinion, at least.
It's just somebody trying to cover. I mean, as I said to somebody at work, I said, I get heat of the moment happens. Like we had the officer come on and do that demonstration with us, the use of force demonstration. And yeah, like in the heat of the moment, shit happens. But to have that many years in and to not know what you're holding, if that's your story, is like terrible. And
And
that's
just in general, they need to be held to a higher standard. If
for
we're
sure.
supposed to treat them with the respect that many of them deserve, like I'm not, many of them are great people and they deserve respect and to be treated well. But then we need something back. We need you to be held to a higher standard that it can't just be. And other countries do it differently, and they're not crime ridden.
Yeah, like watching that Line of Duty show. You see in the UK how the procedure is like. There's certain officers who are trained in firearms, and they get to use them, but they have to sign out the ammunition before they go on their calls, and then sign the gun back in when they get back to work. It's not like they have them on them at all times, right?
And frankly, it's a better system, in my opinion, that you show up, you assess, you figure things out, and then you call in the big guns instead of having everybody have guns.
Yeah, precisely.
But I think it's also important to mention, again, with these types of things, it's dangerous to play devil's advocate because I don't want to seem like I'm siding with the other side, right? But
right.
My dad mentioned it, and I agree. A policeman was shot somewhere in like Oklahoma or somewhere. And also, there was recently like a white guy that got taken out by a no-knock warrant, all that type of stuff. And I want to make it clear that it's important that we mention that it's an issue all the way across. It's not that those are being ignored. It's just these are getting the headlines because it's disproportionately bad.
I was going to say disproportionate's the word.
Yeah. But that said, at least on my thinking, I don't want to discount any of those other people dying. That's not the point. But I think we need to be aware that it happens way more frequently. If you have to have a conversation with your kids that says, when you get pulled over, not if, when you get pulled over, you have to do this, in order to get out of it safely. Like, we didn't have that. No one ever told me that. And it's never been an issue. I've been pulled over a couple of times and gone through check stops and stuff, and never a concern, right?
Yeah. You don't go into it fearing for your life, right?
Yeah. And I mean, culturally, Canada's different than the U.S., thankfully, but still, I'm sure it applies here for people that aren't white as well. So
for sure it does, 100%.
Yeah, but anyway, so I mean,
that's that. Glad he got convicted. It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get more accountability out of this, and the bad apples see that they can't just get away with stuff anymore. Hopefully, and then and we start to get better, kind of one day at a time.
Yeah, and bad apples aside, they need to fundamentally shift the policing.
Yeah, for sure.
It needs to be swapped. Some cities are already doing. I think was it Camden, New Jersey has something where I forget the exact how it all breaks down, but basically they had something set up where they basically defunded the police a couple years ago. I think it was before this even happened.
Mm-hmm. And, what some cities now are doing for whatever comes in as like a mental health emergency or something. I think what gets sent in as a social worker, 2 EMTs, and I think like even a therapist or something gets sent on the call.
Perfect.
As opposed to officers.
Perfect. And even if, I mean, again, it's difficult to say because when you're in the U.S. and everyone could be packing, it's hard to say that everyone on the scene should be unarmed, but that's a whole nother can of worms. It's just
at the very least, or send an officer with them, but those EMTs are in charge of the scene until it gets to that point, right? If they call for something, then sure, but
I don't know. But anyway, I think it's a step in the right direction, and I hope that things like that happen more frequently. That's a bad way to phrase that, but you know what I mean. Like that we keep working towards it. But anyway, speaking of, I don't know. There's no segue here. Let's just move on here. I had some notes from a while back. We were going to do a solo, and we ended up not doing it. But so we'll touch on a couple of those. First off, I gotta say, I have a goatee, as anybody listening to this may or may not know, and I have had one since I was like 19. On and off. Wow, actually no, almost always on because I can't grow a beard, and I have a really fat boy chin, and I like to to make it look like I have a chin by putting hair on it. But that said, when you're online, you see those like memes where it's like the classic, whatever.
Like
redneck,
the redneck weekend kit where it's like
or the starter pack,
the white tank top with a 6-pack of beer, the goatee, the white shades.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I'm offended.
Were you triggered, Reg? Were you triggered?
Every time I look at those, I'm like, fuck. Like, but no, I'm not actually that bothered. But I just wanted to bring it up that not everybody with goatees is necessarily a hootin' and hollering redneck.
Oh, you're just a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan, man.
Yeah,
which still could put you in the redneck camp.
It's true. It's true. To be fair, I did used to have those douchey white glasses for a hot minute.
Yep, I know you did. And, to match the white sandals.
Yeah, which I still have, white sandals. But the thing is, like, come on. I'm not that guy.
Drinking your Pabst Blue Ribbons out in the garage.
Yeah, I just have no style.
It's ironic, okay?
Yeah, right. I'm a hipster redneck. Are there any stereotypes of something that you do online that bothers you?
Something that I do.
Or not that you do. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean.
I mean, I live the stereotype that, all wrestling fans are fat. There's that.
Is that a stereotype?
Certainly one of them, right? They're all like fat, live in their mom's basement. All the classic South Park like guy on the keyboard. Yeah, like that. But nothing that triggered me to that extent. No, I can't say I looked at one and felt attacked by it.
I hate being called big guy.
Hey, big guy. I get that all the fucking time.
I don't like it. I know it's not meant as anything offensive, and I know it's just like saying buddy or whatever.
Yeah.
Hate it. For as long as I can remember, it's just one of those ones that I just really don't like. I don't know what
you think it's just tied into like your self-image. Is that why?
Probably. And that's why I know it's not an insult. It's just
right.
I don't like hearing it.
Right.
About it just bugs me. But yeah, speaking of images, I just watched my first F1 race live this morning, and me and Mike were watching it, and we were dunking on NASCAR as though NASCAR is like the inferior. Not that we know a fucking thing about NASCAR.
Yeah. Now you got to get the Flatlands boys on and have a discussion.
I'm sure it's very similar, and it's just elitist to be.
At least there's more turns.
Yeah, exactly. Just turning left all day, but F1's amazing. It's fun. The storylines is what makes it good. Which now I can sort of understand why people like NASCAR.
Right?
Exactly.
And pro wrestling, it's the storylines, man.
No.
Yeah,
that's
the storylines,
storylines. This is real life storylines.
You can make it just like real life, my friend. No one else is a scripted storyline, Reg? Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad.
Of course. But that's the point. It's a TV show.
Precisely. But it's the drama in the TV show.
Yeah.
Why else do we watch TV and stuff if not to elicit feeling and emotion, right?
You're right. It's just, I don't need to watch people pretend to win things to make it. Well, the only problem with that is that it's because it's pretending to be a sport while also being a scripted drama. I think that's what grates me. Because it's like, you can either be a pro wrestler or an actor, and it feels weird to me to say that you're both.
But why can't you be both?
Oh, I'm not saying that you can't. It just feels weird that you do.
Why?
I don't know. Don't like it.
So, like, you can't watch, like, a movie about an MMA fighter?
Sure you could.
What's the same concept?
Sure. But I don't know. I don't like it.
You're weird, man. All right.
I'm not saying I'm arguing my side very well, but...
Right.
I think it was always because for years and years and years, and maybe still, do people still think that it's legit? Like,
no, I don't think so. I don't think there's anybody out there now that considers it a real physical thing, right?
Okay.
I think most people now know. I mean, maybe young kids, sure, like when they're first starting to watch it, but no, once you get older, there's no one that knows that it. And the behind the scenes stuff is so open now. Like you can find out news about anybody and whatever. And with social media, right? Like you do see the real people behind the characters. So it's not as closed off as it was in like the 70s and the 80s where like the good guys and the bad guys couldn't ride together in the same car, right? Because they didn't want to break that
Yeah.
look of it. And even back then, a lot of people knew it wasn't real, but it was slowly becoming more to the forefront.
What's the goings ons in wrestling these days, Randy? What's the
I haven't
sense?
even really been keeping up with it. I haven't watched a full show in probably close to 2 months. But as far as I know, The Rock's cousin Roman Reigns is still he's running his head of the table gimmick. So he is the
That
tribal
means
chief of the WWE. He actually
what?
just got some. Yeah, so he's Samoan, right? So his whole gimmick is like I'm the tribal chief. Like I provide for my
Oh,
family. I'm the head of the table. Like I'm the top dog in the business, kind of thing.
okay.
And he looks phenomenal. He's got a badass look. You know, he looks like
Yeah,
he
he
could
looks
back
great.
it up. There's rumors that The Rock may face him at WrestleMania at some point as like a passing of the torch kind of thing. Which would be an interesting dynamic because Roman can say I'm running the family now. This is my show. You went off to Hollywood, did your thing. You don't care about us. Blah blah
Yeah,
blah. You could run that whole storyline.
which
So
is
there's
true.
that. Yeah, exactly right. The Wednesday night wars are over. If anyone who's listening, watches AEW and NXT. AEW is a rival promotion. They were both on Wednesdays at the same time for a while, and it was always a ratings battle. Who's going to get more ratings? Who's going to get less? NXT typically drew less than AEW. They beat them a couple times, but they have now moved to Tuesdays, so that the quote unquote war is officially over. Yeah, that's about it, man. There hasn't been too much else going on.
Okay.
They're trying. They had about 50 or no, was it 25,000 people for WrestleMania in the stands.
Wow.
They held it at Tampa Bay, same place as the Super Bowl. So they had it there, had some fans in attendance. They're back in the Thunderdome, is what they call it. So it's got all like LED screens that show the fans, and it's a neat setup. But they're looking apparently at possibly doing fans again for SummerSlam, and maybe doing some for events going forward, having 2, 3, 4,000 people at a show.
Well, speaking of that, I'm wearing my Bomber jersey, and the CFL season has been pushed to August 5th, I believe.
Yeah, fourth or fifth, I don't remember.
And I can't. I was having a discussion this morning about this, and I can't help but think that, especially at the Bomber Stadium, even if you say you only said season ticket holders could come in, it's open air. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you can keep your distance pretty easily in that stadium. Like it's wide. You don't spend any time with anybody. You could space out the seats. Frankly,
I think the risk comes if you're gonna run like all the booze and stuff.
Well, yeah, but you
then
could just close the vendors. Maybe.
yes, I know they're talking about maybe having one or two concessions open,
Mm.
and then
The
I
issue
guess you
with
just
that
run your
is,
lines from there.
but see, that's the problem, right? Because if you only have one or two open, then all the crowds congregate in one place. So
Yeah,
you'd almost be better off having them all open so that you spread out the lines more. You know?
right.
But that's a logistic thing they could figure out. It's just there's almost no reason to not do it. You know, if people can sit on a patio, why can't I sit outside of my seat and watch a Bomber game?
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, see, that's where the Manitoba government's got to kind of, and the provincial governments in general, kind of got to get their shit together and make these rules make sense. I'm all for, like, if we're doing these restrictions for a purpose, I get it, but don't tell me that I can't have someone at my house, four buddies at a house, 6 feet apart, even if we wear masks. It's not okay at my house on my deck, but
Yeah.
if I just go to the street in front of my house, it's
Yeah.
okay because it's public property.
Exactly.
Like
It's
it doesn't make sense, and I can see why people are pushing back on that. So for me, like, did they say what they're going to have capacity limits at? Has the Bombers said anything?
I haven't heard anything specifically. No, I'm not
So
sure.
let's say even 25%, and it's just season ticket holders. I mean, the stadium holds what, 32,000.
Yeah.
So a quarter of that, whatever that may be, 8,000 people.
Something like that.
So if you do that, if you're wearing your mask at all times, except when you're eating, doing whatever, I don't really have an issue with it.
Yeah.
I know who the hell just did Spain, I think just did a concert. It was an outdoor concert. Everybody had to wear masks the whole time, but there was no distancing. Everybody was packed in. There was about 6,000 people, I think, or 3 or 4,000. And they said out of that, you had to have a negative test prior to going. And then out of that, I think they said they ended up getting 6 positive cases in the following 2 weeks.
Which
So
could
I
have
guess
been
people
attributed
tested
to anything.
negative early and then tested positive after, or they just got it after and happened to be positive.
Yeah.
Right. We don't know for sure, but
I mean, as vaccination continues, hopefully, and even with the restrictions, like we mentioned in our Patreon exclusive episode, go check it out for April.
check it out.
We need to be looking at the spirit of the restriction less than the wording, if that makes sense. I know the goal is to try and limit interactions, which is problematic because you're encouraging people to go to patios, but we also need people to make some money, so I guess I get it.
Right.
It's just try and be responsible as best you can, folks, and pretending that the pandemic's over isn't going to help. So let's all work together here.
No matter how much Chris Sky might be your hero.
Oh, fuck that guy, man. He had this. Someone posted a picture of not a blog, but he had written some long thing on some internet forum, and it was all talking about how the Holocaust didn't exist, and there was only 18 million Jews in the whole world, and Germany killed 6 million of them, blah, 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 as though that's somehow impossible. And then a bunch of other stuff about how it's apparently not racist to say that, black people are dumber than white people, even especially since
I saw that one.
Yeah, since we acknowledge that they're better athletically, and somehow if you can prove one or the other, it's bullshit, but it's kind of the typical racist dog whistling.
He's a fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
Whatever way you slice it. But hopefully vaccination rates can continue. I saw there was a protest in Montreal at Olympic Stadium where they're doing vaccination, and I guess it had made them have to reschedule a whole bunch of vaccinations and whatever with the protest. I'm like, hey, if you want to have your protest, whatever, do what you want to do, but don't then actively interrupt the process. Because most of those people probably go, oh, well, if you want to get it. I don't care. I'm not stopping anybody from getting it.
Yeah.
But like now you're actively causing an issue. Like, get the fuck out of here.
And by doing so, you're going to make the restrictions last longer.
Exactly. You're just extending it. You're just prolonging it.
Yep. Anyway, on to better things. I'm curious. When did you first feel like an adult, Randy?
When did I first feel like an adult?
Yeah.
When I first made my solo doctor's appointment. No, I'm just kidding.
Yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I got to find a new doctor now, and that sucks because mine's retiring too.
Mine is too. Yeah. Shit.
Yeah. So I think mine's just he's focusing more on his cancer care and stuff. He's retiring from family medicine.
Selfish prick.
I know, right? What a dick, an asshole. Think of me. I don't know. Probably when we had Hallie.
Oh yeah,
it's like, oh shit, like yeah, like it's real now. Now I gotta fucking buck up. It's not just about me and us anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like now it's bigger than everything else. So I think that was probably when it really kicked in.
It's true.
Like I'm still a kid at heart. Don't get me wrong, but like that's when it's like, okay, now I got like real responsibility.
For sure, and there's no doubt about that because we we spent like an hour talking about WandaVision, so we're still in on the kiddie stuff, but
right.
As adults, but yeah, it's interesting because now as adults we're talking about lumber prices and property taxes and that type of stuff, and it's the worst. But I don't know. The thought popped into my head the other day, and I'm trying to think if I've. Because I definitely feel like an adult now. I think about that I'm 30, which when I was 10, I thought was 100.
Right.
And so I feel pretty firmly as an adult, but it's... I don't know. I'm probably in the same boat. Like, I don't know if I've actually had that moment, but it's sort of creeped in on me, and now that I'm an old man. I'm not sure when that happened.
But still, right? Like you got responsibilities too. I mean, you got cats.
Yeah.
So there's the cats. You got the house, right? You got bills to pay. Like it just it does all. I don't think it's often that it kind of hits everybody at once. I think, like you say, it's mostly and even me, it's been creeping up on me for a while. But that was like okay, here it is. Like the fucking the bow's gonna break,
And if not that, it's either that or it's like a traumatic experience where you're forced to grow up
Right.
really early or really quickly.
Right.
Which I've thankfully haven't had to deal with.
Right.
Not in that way. But I don't know. It was interesting. What oh yeah. Maybe this is what brought it up. I don't know. But I was chatting with a good friend of the show, Brian Moore, Mr. Brian Moore.
Brian.
This was a little bit ago, but we were talking about not growing up or being immature or something. And then he made a comment that he still puts button-up shirts on like a t-shirt to make the point that he's a kid still. And I thought of that. I was like, I've never once put on a button-up shirt that way. Never in my life have I pulled it over my head. Why would you do that?
I think if I had to do it, because some people like button their shirts when they put them away. They button it up to the, second or third button. I've seen it happen. I'm not saying
why would you do that?
I don't know. Some people do. Or you take it off after, you wear it for a minute. Like maybe you try it on, you button it up, and then you just rip it off because you want to try something else on quick.
I guess. But I think he was implying that when you're a kid, that's how you put button-up shirts on. I'm not familiar with
just
the
I don't know, maybe because as an adult you learn to button your once you button your shirt up, you're independent now and you're not
maybe
you got to throw your tie on and go to work. I don't know.
I don't really wear button-up shirts. Though, or actually, what's interesting is some people call them button-downs. Is it a button-up or a button-down? What is it for you, Randy?
I always button. Technically I always button down. I don't go bottom up. I go top down.
I button down, but I call them button-ups.
Yes.
Or dress shirts.
I'm the same way. Yeah, a dress shirt.
Yeah, but no, it would never occur to me to just yank it off or put it on pre-buttoned and to hang it and button it. Who has time for that? You button the top one, and then it hangs.
Yeah, precisely.
Crazy people, I tell you.
Hey, some people are nuts, man.
Crazy. Oh, here's an interesting one. Former guest of the show, which maybe I shouldn't. Drew McDonald told me this was years ago. He's telling me that apparently he wipes standing up, and when I heard that, it blew my mind a little.
Drew, I hope you're okay with your secret going out to the world here.
It's known now. People do it. It's not just him, but apparently.
Yes, I've heard of this anomaly.
And I'm like, when I was dumbfounded when I heard it. Like, how? Why? What was I just taught differently? It was one of those things that I'd never even thought about as doing it differently.
Right.
You ever do it standing up, Randy?
Not that I can recall. Maybe in a public toilet where I didn't want to get my hand too close to the seat. You do the old squat crunch, and then you just kind of get up and do your thing. But not that I can remember. I'm a sit down wiper.
Yeah, it makes it. I feel like when you stand up, it would make it harder.
Right, because you're squishing your cheeks together.
Yeah, you'd have to bend forward anyway to get access to the undercarriage, right? So why wouldn't you just do it while you're sitting?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't have a clue. I don't have an answer for you, man.
Yeah, it's odd. So people that stand up to wipe, you are nuts.
Well, I mean, it's are you a scruncher or are you a folder?
A folder?
Yeah.
What kind of question is that?
Who are scrunchers?
So they just grab a handful of toilet paper and go,
I guess so,
and throw it away?
Yep.
Rich people. Rich kids. That's what it is.
Maybe.
You had no respect for what it costs to get toilet paper.
You're not an adult yet, man. You don't know.
I am very regimented where I take my thing, I fold it in half, go to town, and then you just keep folding.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get as much as you can out of it.
Oh, 100%. And if you get a little bit of, a little gunk on your fingers, it happens.
You'll pop through and you get the cheap stuff because you can't afford the good rolls.
A little slap a tickle.
Or you go in the public toilets and you get the one-ply...
The see-through.
Cardboard sheet.
Yeah. Then sometimes you end up scrunching because you just grab as much as you can.
Just fuck it.
Just don't even take it off the roll. Yeah. To grab the whole roll.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you stand up and wipe, you're a psychopath and we can't be friends. That's not true. I'm friends with Drew. But frankly, we should just all get bidets.
You should get bidets. Go to tushy.com. And
I was going to say, hello, Tushy.
If Tushy wants to pay us, I'm all down for that.
I think I asked them. I don't know if I actually emailed them or not. I meant to. But
we should.
you can get them at
Manscaped plus
Costco,
Tushy.
apparently. Yeah,
Can you?
Yeah. Chris Lutz, also guest of the show. We're just dropping everything. Dropping plug. People all over the place. Everybody's been on the show.
Big name dropping.
Yeah, but he has one in his house. And I was like, I asked him if I could see it. He's like, yeah, man, take it for a rip. But I didn't have to.
You should have 100%. Who cares? Just sit down and have a pee and take it for a rip.
Do you ever sit down to pee, Randy?
All the time.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why?
It's cleaner. It empties the bladder more completely. Therefore, I have to piss less.
How often do you pee if you don't sit?
And now, because the only time I get to myself is in the bathroom, I sit, I look at my phone for a few seconds while I'm having a pee.
Oh, I'm learning so much about you. I didn't know
Do
that.
I still piss standing up? Sure, when it's convenient. And I got to.
Because I'm a man.
But yeah, fuck yeah, I sit when I pee, man. Fuck them.
Wow.
I'm comfortable enough in my sexuality. I'm going to stand up when I piss to feel like a man.
You gotta be dominant. I need to.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even walk into the bathroom to pee.
Outside the door, spraying it in there.
I pee wherever I like because I'm the man. The man.
I got a lot of back pressure. I get some distance there, boy.
Every kid did that though, growing up. Or every boy
for
did
sure.
that growing up.
Yeah.
You stand as far back in the gym bathroom and you shoot for the stars.
100%.
Yeah.
Some people probably still do that in the trough at the stadium. So.
For sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Randy's a piece of.
Yeah. Come at me. Anyone wants to come at me for it, come at me. But I'm telling you, it's way better.
We've got stand-up wipers and sit-down peers and everything in between. But no, I get the reasoning. I guess with bum knees, I don't want to bend if I don't have to.
I can see that.
So I just let gravity do all the work.
Hey man, you do what you got to do.
Yeah, I still remember we were in a motel somewhere. I don't remember where it was. And I don't know if I told this story before, but anyway, I walked into the bathroom and, you know, when you're half asleep and you may or may not even have opened your eyes, but you can't see anything.
Right.
But you think that you're kind of awake. Anyway, I couldn't find the light switch in this pitch black motel room. And I walk into the bathroom. I struggle to find it, but it's one of those, like, either I pee right now or I pee myself. Right. And I literally walked up to the toilet where I guess I thought it was.
Yeah.
And then I started peeing and hoped for the best. And I literally just guided myself by sound. It was like, and then splash, 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 splash. And then water, splash, 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 splash. I was just made a fucking mess.
Oh, yeah.
Like the next.
See, if you had just sat down, it'd be good to go.
Yeah. I mean, 11-year-old Reg probably wouldn't have listened to you, but that would have been the way. You're right.
Yeah. And honestly, I can see why people get pissed off. Like women get pissed off and leave the toilet seat up. Because I totally had that happen when I left it up. Because I stood up to take a pee one day, left it up. Hallie cried out, so I could give her a soother. And I get back and, I go for a piss and I go to sit down and I like sploosh. And I'm just like, fuck. No, I can see why they hate this. No, I was close. I was like just above because I was like, I'm sitting far too low. Something's happening here.
Oh, that's
you can tell there's great. Like that height where your seat is when you plop down.
It would have been cold as fuck too. No.
Yeah, it was cold. Yeah, got the cheeks cold. But luckily, Poseidon did not kiss me that day.
I've always been a firm seat down guy. I close the lid my whole life.
Right.
I don't actually understand how people just leave it. It looks ugly. My whole life, I've always closed it, no matter what. I don't know why, whether I was taught that or if it's just been impulse, but
I don't know.
People that leave the seat up drive me nuts.
Those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
How dare they? Get at us. You let us know on Instagram and Facebook if you sit when you pee or you stand up.
We'll put it
mostly for the guys, I guess.
Yeah, we'll put it as a poll.
Yeah, there you go.
Better yet, are you a lady that stands to pee?
I'd be impressed.
Well, couldn't you just straddle over the toilet and let it do its thing?
Theoretically, yeah.
Like a sprinkler.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well.
God.
As an aside,
all our female listeners are just shaking their heads right now.
We don't have any female listeners, Randy.
Oh, we do.
Okay. Well, anyway, so I have a couple of magazines here that I thought we could flip through to talk about shit. I have a Time magazine from September 10th, 1973.
Ooh.
My dad was 6 years old when this came out, and there wasn't much in here that I wanted to touch on, but there was an interesting one that I saw. I always love bringing up when like old-timey things cost certain things and what they cost now.
Right.
Specifically TV. So basically in the marketing section of the 1973 edition of Time magazine, it says, "So sorry, Sony." So basically Sony was trying to encourage outside investment into Japan, and
Right.
Motorola Inc., they sought the Japanese giant's aid in marketing TV sets in Japan, which is definitely not what Sony wanted because they were selling the TVs, right?
Right.
But anyway, so the point of this was Japanese consumers are even more avid than the Americans for color TV. Some 70% of Japanese households have color sets versus, what do you say the U.S. percentage was in 1973?
It was, how much is the percentage for Japan?
70.
Of colored TV sets?
Yeah.
In 1973.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say 53%.
Ooh, 58%. So only 58% had color TVs.
Really?
Which is always interesting to me. I don't know what the percentage now is on 100%, but
Right.
if anybody still has a black and white TV.
There's that one holdout still, just, some 98-year-old lady sitting in her house with a black and white TV.
Sitting in Mississippi, just, oh yeah, no, they're not.
Or it's some 26-year-old bearded hipster sitting in his house with a black and white TV.
TV was better in black and white.
Yeah. That's how it's meant to be seen. That's cinema.
Citizen Kane shouldn't be in color. That exists. There's for sure someone that's talking like that.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
It's like vinyl. The crickles and the crackles and the pops are meant to be there. Anyway.
It keeps the integrity of the art.
Yeah. That's how the artist wanted you to see it. But anyway, so they're only just beginning to offer limited quantities of color sets with screens larger than 19 inches. So, and they refer to those as large screens.
Mm-hmm.
How cute. How cute.
As I look at my 55-inch plasma on my wall.
Yeah, exactly. That weighs like a quarter of what that weighed. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I just thought it was interesting. So then basically, oh, hold on. What is this? Did I just find a price?
Oh.
Sales promotion, Motorola, blah, 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 blah. Will raise the Tokyo price of Motorola Casars. Was that the TV? To a range of $750 to $1,250, or 25% more than they cost in the U.S.
$1,250.
Yeah, in 1973.
And now you can get a friggin' 48-inch for like $300.
Yeah. But that will still be below the introductory prices of, $1,800 expected on Sony and Matsushita big screen color TVs. So a 19-inch TV could have cost you $1,800 in 1973. I don't know what that is wild. In today's money.
That's a lot of dope.
Yeah, that's not cheap. That's inflation has been 512% since then. So
it says it's equivalent in purchasing power to about $10,738 today.
Yeah.
So the cost of like a 110-inch high-end Samsung is what these things would have cost you back in the day.
For like an 80-inch or 90-inch.
Yeah.
Or...
And like that's like top of the line TV.
Yeah. Wow.
Wild.
Shit's wild, man. One thing I find interesting, I also have a 1961 Life magazine that I'm going to flip through here. I find it just so interesting because, first of all, print media is basically dead, but which is a bummer because I like reading actual tangible things.
Right.
But when you're flipping through like the ads and stuff, it's all it's all about weirdly. Actually, here's the thing. So the two of them are obvious, but what in this magazine specifically, what do you think is the third most popular thing that's being advertised?
In 19 when?
61. So
The
the first
third
two
most
should
popular thing to be advertised? Well, cigarettes and booze are probably 1 and 2.
bingo. They're all over the place. What do you think is the next most in specifically this magazine and maybe across the world? We're not sure.
Number 3, what would be next to cigarettes and booze? I'm gonna say like men's clothing.
You would think that, wouldn't you? But in fact, it is pens.
Pens. Well, I guess everyone was writing everything.
Yeah, but even that wouldn't have occurred to me. It was really interesting to me. There's at least 3 ads in here about getting a proper like ink pen and this pen and that pen and all these other things. And check out this 2-page Marlboro ad.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah. Back when smoking was good for you.
You were cool, man.
Man, I grew up in the wrong era.
You weren't a sophisticated man until you were smoking cigarettes and drinking whiskey.
Yeah. It's good for you.
bunch of John Hams out in the world.
Yeah. I don't even think about you at all. Anyway, another one in this one. So in 1961, these teenagers drove 1962. Well, it was a 1961 Plymouth Savoy versus a 1962 Plymouth Savoy, and they drove Plymouth to Plymouth to Plymouth to Plymouth. So basically, they went Plymouth, Michigan to Plymouth, Indiana to Plymouth, Pennsylvania to Plymouth, Massachusetts, and return. And want to guess what their fuel mileage was?
Fuel mileage. I'm gonna say this is gonna be miles per gallon because it's probably American.
Yep. Miles per gallon, yeah.
I'm gonna say they got like 6 miles to the gallon.
You're selling them short, Randy. That's like a semi truck. But anyway, so the average car now, at least my car, was getting like 38 miles per gallon. My little puddle jumper, and that's a 2008. So the 1961 Plymouth Savoy got 21.85 miles per gallon.
Not bad, not bad.
It's okay. It's not great, even though fuel probably cost a nickel.
Yeah, probably.
Those are sweet looking cars, though. Anyway.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I went to go fill my car the other day, and it was $52 to fill my Honda Civic.
Wow.
I was like, this is a Honda Civic. What in the why? I should never pay over $40 to fill this thing.
Is that a 40-liter tank or 50-liter tank?
50-liter tank.
Yeah, I guess that's why.
Yeah.
Much like mine. Yeah, it's. See, I've been curious. Is it because of the? Is it because of the new carbon taxes? Is it something else? Is there?
Honestly, I don't know.
I've been wondering that myself, and I haven't looked into it because, frankly, I always look at it like I need it anyway. So why am I getting butthurt about it?
Right.
And on average, my fueling up is maybe costing me an extra $5 typically.
Great.
So it's not going to break the bank, but I understand that it's not great, and we don't like seeing it like that. But
here are 5 reasons gas prices are going up. Crude oil prices are surging. This is from March 10th
of this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crude oil prices surging. It says oil in February hit $60 US per barrel for the first time in over a year. They're expecting prices to hit $72 by summer. Because, I mean, it was low. I mean, you were talking like $5-10 a barrel, I think, at one point.
Yeah.
The emissions levy is going up. So it said the tax on fuels are going from $30 per ton to $170 per ton by 2030.
Oh, okay.
As a result, gas prices across Canada are expected to rise by more than 37 cents a liter by 2030.
Well, that's based off of what? Because we've almost jumped that now in the last 4 months.
Right. Well, I mean, we were averaging pre-pandemic. We were averaging like $1.15, 16.
And then it went down.
I think, and then it went down because nobody was driving anymore.
Yeah.
and then now it's gone back up, plus the carbon tax. So I think that's what we're seeing is the usual uptick plus.
Okay.
So there's that. Canadian oil production has fallen about 20%. Vaccinations are expected to boost travel, which will contribute to rising fuel costs. And it just says summer brings pricier gasoline blends.
Why would more travel make it more expensive? In my brain, it should make it cheaper. You know?
You would think because there'd be price wars and stuff, but I guess just more people using it.
Yeah, but we have a surplus, so that shouldn't even be an issue.
But it says that our oil production has fallen.
Yeah, but I think the U.S. still has like a 300 billion barrel surplus or some shit.
Well, I'm sure they do, but they don't care. They'll still raise the prices up. They're getting
if you're running the corporation, you still charge it. You just raise it. Yeah, I guess.
It just says, as more Canadians are vaccinated while 2021 rolls on, people are likely to drive and fly more, and that trend will contribute to rising fuel costs because it will cause greater demand and a restoration of normal and perhaps a bit of pent-up demand being satisfied in the early stages of spring and summer.
Sounds like price gouging to me.
Yeah, it just says fight back by shopping around for lower gas prices because they can vary by city and blah, 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 depending on what part of the city you're in. Because, I mean, I usually go to Costco to fill up, and it's usually 5 to 10 cents cheaper there.
Yeah, I think it's average like 7 or 8, 9, whatever.
Yeah.
But frankly, I'm not. It'll take me more time to find somewhere cheaper than just to fuel up where I'm at.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Exactly.
But I understand if people need to. Kat and I drove probably 500K yesterday.
Yeah.
To go on the hike.
Hiking, I saw that.
Yeah, trying to
hiking in the devil's butthole or something.
Yeah, that's what I kept telling her. I was like, "Where's the devil's anus or the devil's butt plug or whatever it's called?"
Yeah,
the devil's punch bowl.
Whereabouts is that anyway?
It's just north of Glenboro.
Oh, okay.
So on your way to Brant, 2.5 hours ish. From home. But yeah, it's basically like me on a hike, especially on sand dunes and stuff. It's like, have you ever seen a French bulldog try and do anything? That's what it's like.
Yeah, or a pug.
Yeah,
like one of those asthmatic pugs that moves for 10 minutes and then just.
Yeah, exactly. Tongue hanging out the whole time. Yeah, it was difficult. There's one peak where we went up, and because we saw tracks there, and the path continued, but we're like, oh, maybe where does this go? And I was like, I don't think I can do that. I'm gonna do it. We're gonna push through. So Kat went first, and she made it to the top, and I made it probably 2/3, maybe 3/4 up, and I was dying, like hands and knees, like through the sand. Every time I stopped, then I have to fight through the fucking soft sand I just put myself in. And she gets to the top. She's like, just go down. There's nothing here. I was like, yeah, fuck. So it was just kind of the peak of the dune that you could take pictures from. And stuff.
Okay.
But, so suffice to say, it's basically like lugging a garbage bag full of sand up a sand dune, which is what I am. That's basically what I am.
You're just training for the Marines, Reg. That's all.
Oh, God.
So you'll be doing Hell Week in no time.
I would die. First day.
I'd be ringing that bell in about a half hour.
Do they still have Hell Week on TV? Because that used to be fun to watch.
I don't know if they have a show recently that's been on there. They had one where it was like regular people going through it, but I don't think it was like an actual Navy SEAL.
I used to watch that on the military channel all the time.
Yeah.
Satellite back in the day. But anyway, speaking of back in the day, this is referring from the 1961 magazine here. There's a Kodak ad for some cameras. Yeah, Kodak, who had a swift decline since then. But this is when they were in their height, I would imagine. So there's a new Kodak automatic 35B camera for color slides.
Ooh.
Electric eye adjust exposure, blah, blah, blah. Ideal for travel. This thing looks like it's... I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
The bottom one there. That doesn't look ideal for travel.
No, not really, no.
But I guess in a world where nothing is ideal for travel, it's all relative.
Right.
So this thing was $68 back in 1961, which is actually cheaper than I thought. So I Googled it. It's $416 this year.
Well, that tracks. That's still about what a nice higher end camera will run you.
Yeah, so it actually wasn't as crazy as I hoped it would be. 110. There's a video camera. You merely rotate the lens barrel to make it zoom. Has built-in filter. But what's that one? That's 110. 674. Again, nothing crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
still tracks.
Not like those TVs. Fuck me.
Those crooks.
What's the most expensive thing that you got when you were a kid, you think? Like what, or that your parents bought that you were a bit surprised maybe that they got? Anything come to mind?
My dad, when I was 13, remember that quad I used to have in the garage?
Yes.
The red one, it was a Honda. I think we sold it shortly after I met you, but yeah, that thing. He just showed up one day with a quad in the back of the truck, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" He's like, "Oh, I went and got a quad." I'm like, "Dad, we live in the city."
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I was pumped. I'm 13, I got a quad, right? But
well, yeah.
that was probably the most expensive on a whim purchase I saw my parents do.
Didn't your dad buy his truck on a credit card?
No.
I could have sworn that was something that he did.
It's probably the quad.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Could have been, because the quad was like 12 grand or something, he said.
And those things are probably still worth 12 grand.
Yeah, probably.
There was one thing I was going to check here as well in this magazine. I lost my page. A Lady Remington of Claws. What the hell is this? Oh, it's a lamp? No. Oh, no. Lady Remington. It's a shaver.
Right. I was going to say Remington's usually a shaving brand.
Yeah. It's an American magazine. I thought for sure it'd be someone like a gun holder or something. But it's just, I don't know. I love looking at the old ads. Everything seems so bright and joyful, which for whatever reason it doesn't seem to anymore.
Right. Yeah, it was just history. It was cool, man. There wasn't I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess there wasn't as much infighting then amongst everybody, so maybe that's kind of the reason.
Ooh, that's a perfect segue, attaboy. So, speaking of infighting, there's an ad here in the 1961 issue of, what was this again? Life magazine.
Yeah.
Titled, "We Will Bury You," says Nikita Khrushchev, which was the leader of Russia.
Right.
And in 1949, the communists took China. In 1951, Tibet. 1954, North Vietnam. 1961, Cuba. This minute, the communists threaten West Berlin, Laos, parts of Africa, and Latin America. Nikita Khrushchev means to bury the U.S. His timetable for world conquest is, in italics, is on schedule. Mm-hmm. Can the communists be stopped before they bury us? What can a private citizen do? So this is interesting. So basically, this is an ad for Radio Free Europe, the American people's counter voice to communism, centered in Mount Vernon, New York. What does it do? Every day, to 80 million captive people behind the Iron Curtain, Radio Free Europe broadcasts the plain truth, ... religious services, ... folk songs they love, ... the real news of the outside world. It keeps these people from succumbing to communism. The people of Poland, Czechoslovakia, doesn't exist anymore, Hungary, Bulgaria, Romania. It keeps alive their belief in the free world and their hope for the future, their friendship for America. So, yeah, like, okay. I mean, all the power to you. You should probably be helping these people get news, but who's to say yours is right?
Right. That sounds an awful lot like a lot of those Alex Jones types that get their own radio stations and then beam out whatever they want to people, right?
Exactly. I mean, it is probably for the best that the people stuck in USSR, they probably are being limited by what they can listen to and what they can experience. But it just seems interesting that that Radio Free Europe is trying to send them religious services and songs they love.
Right.
What do people in New York know about what people in the Ukraine love to listen
to? Yeah, exactly, right.
Even West Berlin, back when Berlin was ripped in the middle.
Right. Neue Berlin.
Berlin.
Bratislava.
Da.
I once actually saw a horse in Bratislava.
Well, okay. Well, that's enough from this issue of Life magazine. I
Yeah,
think I
it's
might
cool.
regularly
It's a
do it.
piece of history, right?
Yeah, I got a whole stack of these suckers that there's, like I said, we have ones from Nixon's trial and his jury and
nice.
stuff. So we'll piece through. I just wanted to find the oldest two that I had, and those are the two.
Right.
So
I'll go through. I think in the shed, one of my bins with some books and stuff. I have a book of like headlines from the newspapers in Canada on like all through World War II. It's like all the front pages from like kind of each day during the World War.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I wanted to
big
look up.
headlines of the week.
I tried going through like a newspaper archive to find, because the Winnipeg Free Press has been around since like the 18 somethings,
right?
And I wanted to go back, but you have to pay for a subscription, and I'm like, is it worth it for the gig? I don't know. But I'd love to go back and find like the first headline, or the first like what they were talking about back then, and kind of what shows up. But
anyway. What was big in local news then?
Exactly. Did we get any people chime in on the Patreon by any chance for topics?
Do not
see any alerts. No, I did it too last minute, I guess. Okay.
Intruder alert!
So if I say, you should watch, everybody listening should watch Invincible if you haven't yet on Amazon Prime. I've been telling everybody about it. It's delightful.
I've heard nothing but good things about it. And Kevin Smith had Robert Kirkman on his latest episode of Fat Man Beyond to talk about it. He's the creator of Invincible and Walking Dead.
I knew his name looked familiar, but
and he's like one of the richest dudes in the world now because he sold all that sweet AMC money that they paid him for Walking Dead.
How much did you think he made off of that?
Oh, I'm sure he made a pile of money. Let's do a quick Googling.
Do it.
Did Robert Kirkman get for Walking Dead? Well, let's see here. His net worth is about $23 million. So for a comic book writer, that's pretty good. But I don't know what he was paid exactly for just Walking Dead. But I'm sure he got a ton.
Yeah, that makes sense. Doesn't matter. But yeah, you can make lots of money on that shit. But anyway, Invincible is not for kids, even though it's a cartoon. Some great voice actors all throughout.
Yeah, they have a pretty big lineup, for their cast.
J.K. Simmons, Sandra Oh, that Stephen Young. Also, I just recently learned the guy from Kim's Convenience. I don't know if you watched that or not, but the one son is in a new Marvel movie.
Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings. Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah, and nice Canadian actor leading a Marvel movie.
I love that. And of Chinese descent, which again, it leads to the question of why can he play a Korean as a Chinese guy? You know? Mm-hmm. Isn't that problematic? It just sort of shows.
I mean, I don't know how Asian people feel about the spectrum of what Asian ethnicities can play other ones. That's not really.
Yeah, I don't want to say
thing I know anything about, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to say what people can and can't do, but it's just interesting to show the difficulty of those areas, right? Like trying to decide what way or what people, it's like
right. I hear you.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear though, because I thought he was Korean. Also, the dad in that show is Korean, I believe, but he does a fake Korean accent, which is, again, some people would get really bothered by. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, are accents off limits entirely, no matter what it is?
I don't think so, no.
No, I don't think so either.
Because that's how a lot of real people talk who maybe have just come into the country. I mean, I don't think accents should be, I mean, if you're Hank Azaria, white guy doing Apu, probably not the best thing in the world. Actually, I listened to the episode with him on Armchair Expert. It was really good.
That was a good one.
Listening to him talk about it. He's a super charismatic dude. I like him in like all the roles he's done.
Yeah.
But that's a good chat for anyone who wants to kind of get his side of the story and what he went through that whole thing when that documentary came out about Apu.
And he's so honest about it too, where he's like,
for sure,
when we first came up with it, it was funny. Yeah. And there was nothing wrong with it, but you can totally see how it creates that stereotype as, the Indian family that runs the convenience store.
Yeah, like you said, that's all a lot of those kids saw for 20 years was that stereotype. So you can see how it's hurtful and not very good.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Check out Invincible. Like I said, I want to watch it. I'm probably going to get to it next weekend, I think.
Just watch the first episode, and if you don't continue, then I don't know what's wrong with you. But if you watch the first episode and don't continue, then
I've heard there's a twist, a twisty twist, a big one.
Yeah, really, so, I didn't see it coming.
Right. Well, I look forward to checking it out. Check out Invincible. Check out, like I said, check out Line of Duty if you're into cop dramas. That's currently what I'm watching. So I just want to talk English all day. It's awesome because their chief is like Scottish, but they're like more British. So it's just fun to listen to them talk. He's like, catching criminals is hard enough, but catching bent coppers, God give me strength. It's just so good to hear.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Really, really good show. Like even if it wasn't like a cop show, the characters are really well done. The actors do a phenomenal job, and it constantly builds tension every episode.
I'll have to check it out. I've been avoiding like really deep shows lately. I just want basic escapism, but like comedies like The Office and things like that. I'm looking for a new one like that. I just started Trailer Park Boys.
Nice.
I've never watched most of it, so
the early episodes are fun. They're so like low budget, and it's great.
But that's what it makes it good.
Piece of Canadian history. Julian drinking that dirty swish.
Sexy Julian.
Terrible taste and stuff, but by fuck does it ever get you some drunk.
Soon may the kitty men come. Anyway, I don't have anything else to talk about, so we can do our
I'm pretty much out too. Yeah,
eat and a beat.
It's been all the news seems to be about COVID and shit, so it's hard to find a lot of stuff that's outside of unrest.
Yeah, everybody's sort of uncomfortable and unhappy, and
Although I did have I had a funny thought with Darius the other day. We were driving. We were watching. Sorry, Endgame was on TV. We were watching Endgame. I'm like, oh shit, it's finally on TV. Like we're that far away from it that it's on TV now. So we're watching it, and I'm like, the part comes where Chris Evans gets the hammer, right, where it flies over Thanos' head, and I'm like, because I've always wanted a superhero sleeve, right? And I told Darius, I said, I might get Chris Evans tattooed on my arm whenever I start that sleeve. And she's like, why would you do that? I'm like, because that is probably like my all-time favorite movie scene.
Yeah.
Just like the chills I get every time I see it, and just remembering sitting in the theater, and that's the first time I've ever in the theater audibly went like, yes, like when something happened in a movie.
Yeah.
So I was like, I might just get that scene where he's like kind of got it pulled back and he just looks back at the camera.
Oh yeah.
I think that might be like the centerpiece of the whole thing.
Yeah, when the music crests, and then it just gets it. You're like, oh, getting chills.
I know, right? Isn't it great?
Yeah, that's incredible.
And I did see a theory. I saw a theory too where they were talking about like, well, Chris Evans got it because he was worthy, but like, how could Vision pick it up? And it was like, it's not that Vision was worthy of picking it up. It's just that Vision's a machine and is incapable of like being worthy of wielding the hammer.
Huh.
And there's an example of like how it can like sit in an elevator and not weigh it down, right? Because the elevator is just a machine in it. You know what I mean?
Oh, that makes sense. Because I've seen some questions about that. If it's immovable, how?
And he can't use lightning with it. He can just hold it. The only way you're worthy of wielding the power of Thor, which is the god of thunder, is by being worthy.
Oh, so then, so Vision could carry it, but he couldn't actually.
He can't use the lightning powers. Yeah.
What?
But anyway, so that was my tan. Yeah, I was like, I might just get that piece on me, and I love Chris Evans, so I wouldn't be. I wouldn't have second thoughts about it at all.
And then you could jerk off to yourself.
I totally could. Come on, Cap.
That's America's ass.
Just get a little peach in the corner.
It'll have to be Christopher Maloney's piece.
That'll be the back piece. It'll just be Chris Evans laying face down in the cap suit. That's America's ass.
Yeah. So I just saw this interesting here. A man who ridiculously claims he is a time traveler from the year 2582 has predicted Earth will face a blackout lasting 3 days within the next decade.
All right.
That is just vague enough that it could work.
Exactly. Could happen.
In a bonkers TikTok video, the man bizarrely claims the planet will be plunged into 72 hours of darkness, and he urges people to start preparing for the phenomenon. Why?
I mean, we probably should be prepped a little bit for like an EMP or something anyway.
Oh, yeah. Our infrastructure is totally fragile. To a big solar blast, we're fucked.
Yeah.
It takes... Was it you and I talking about this? I was talking about this to someone else, but if you have to replace a transformer, just one, it probably takes you 2 years.
I think it was us talking about, how long it takes to build them and manufacture them.
And then ship them and then install them. So if you're going to replace all the transformers across all of just Canada, we probably have, I think even just our power company in Manitoba, I think we have a couple hundred transformers. So now think about... Are
you talking big guys or like little pull top transformers?
No, just the big guys.
Right.
But yeah, if you have to do all of them...
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be in the dark ages. Anyway, his video, which claims a 3-day blackout will cause chaos on Earth in 5 years' time, has been watched by more than 425,000 users.
Oh, God.
Okay, so that's all. Starting at 0 hours UTC on the June 6th, 2026, the Earth will enter into 3 days of darkness. The video adds, do not look at them. Do not look up in the sky at the light coming from the pyramids. What? Okay.
For one, welcome our new alien overlords.
Yeah. Save us. Details from the lights from the pyramids will happen after. People have been asking for. The time traveler replied, I will explain more in details. It should clear all the doubts you have left. I hope it's like the Josh fight that it goes down.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, the Josh fight, a bunch of dudes named Josh met in Nebraska. Was it last week? Week before?
I think it was 2 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, I remember seeing this meme on 9gag and other platforms years ago, maybe shortly after it started. Basically, a dude had tagged all the Joshes he could find in a Facebook group or a Facebook group chat and just said, the Joshes, we're going to fight for the ultimate use of the name Josh. Whoever wins gets to be Josh. And it was a funny joke, funny meme. Yeah. I didn't think anything of it. And he said he chose the date of whenever that was 2 weeks ago. Right. And something like, what was it, like 2,000 people showed up, right?
Something like that, yeah. It was a big turnout. I think like a 4 or 5 year old ended up winning the Josh fight.
That's awesome. Just that's the positivity of the internet right there. That's what you like.
For sure.
Even though technically during COVID you shouldn't be congregating like that, blah blah blah.
Yes.
Blah. Yeah. So, and back to our time traveler. It's not real. He has had multiple videos saying stuff would happen when they never did, and he deleted the videos. No kidding.
You think?
Yeah. There's a growing list of social media accounts run by hoaxers who claim to be from the future while throwing out predictions of doom and gloom. In one video, a man claimed he went to the year 8973 and telepathic cyborgs who replaced humans. Neat. Yeah, that's... The world is full of interesting things.
Yeah, there's some pretty bonkers people out there.
Yeah.
Well, before we go, Reg, did you watch Falcon and Winter Soldier yet?
No. I meant to, but I didn't.
Get to it.
Wow.
Mostly because I need a whole show about Isaiah Bradley now, and once you watch that, you'll know why.
Sounds good. Maybe I'll start it today.
Do it.
Woman feared she was going to be taken after strangers melted cheese on her car.
I mean, reasonable.
I'd be like, oh, cool, sandwich.
Just roll your window down and just scrape some of the big chip off the windshield. Eh? What's up, boys? Thanks.
Apparently, if you've been on social media lately, which I have, you might have seen a number of TikTok videos warning of different kidnapping techniques, which I have not. From leaving messages on people's wheelie bins, which I assume are British garbage cans,
Probably,
to putting water bottles on car hoods and tying things to door handles. I've heard the door handles one.
Yeah, I've heard that one too.
Yeah, what do they? They tie like a twist tie on there or something, and then while you're taking it off, then they abduct you.
Something like that, yeah. Or someone gets in the back seat or something while you're fucking around with that.
Yeah. So the common message in all the clips is not to get in your vehicle if you notice something unusual or suspicious. Fair.
Right.
But I'm going to be honest. You melt cheese on my car, I'm going to be like, cool.
I'm going to eat this shit up.
Yeah, nachos. Hey, babe, we're making nachos. Where'd you get the cheese from? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Yeah.
You got buckets, though.
I went to church on Sunday for about an hour, and I came back out, and there's melted cheese on my car. Yeah, doesn't that happen at every church?
You'd think, right?
The holy cheddar.
The Lord's blessing you. You
Celestial splooge.
Yeah.
I called my friend and her mom to come help me scrape it off, and as soon as they came, this white van with like stickers, and they were wearing masks, smoking, pulled out of a parking space that was 2 spots away from me, and they went to the other parking lot across the street where they could watch us clean off the cheese, which sounds like a dirty thing to say.
It does.
Clean off the cheese. But yeah, so maybe she would have been taken. That would have been a real
Perhaps. By herself, maybe. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. But for cheese.
You never know, man. I saw a video the other day where it was like 6 guys rolled up on a dude at a gas pump, and he's pumping gas into his car, and a white man rolls up, and 2 guys jump out like the front and the passenger seat, and then the sliding doors open, and 2 more guys jump out. So the guy, quick thinking, pulls the nozzle out of his car and starts spraying them with gasoline. Yeah. And just letting go and just spraying on him. They eventually drove away. But I'm like, dude, like to have the wherewithal.
So they were going to abduct him?
I assume so, or take his car or do something with him. And he just started just laying into them with the gasoline hose and just spraying away. I'd be like, that'd be the best gas money I've ever spent.
And as a smoker, I have a lighter in my pocket all the time. So I'd be like,
there you go.
Fuck you.
Flamethrower, bitch.
Yeah. Wilhelm, bring out the Flammenwerfer. There's just my teenage son made me an OnlyFans account to earn himself more pocket money.
All right.
Wow.
Hey, do what you got to do.
That's his actual mom? Oh, she's a Playboy bunny.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Lucine Duarte. Leonardo Hathaway is her kid. And, yeah, okay. I didn't realize that she was a Playboy bunny. Never mind. That's a non-issue.
Oh, OnlyFans.
Yeah. Making money for everybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if Bad Baby can make $1 million in 6 hours, I mean.
Fuck. Midwife heard dad-to-be ask when stretch marks will go as wife lay on operating table.
Jesus.
You want to end up on the operating table?
That's the way to do it.
Did you see this influencer, which is such an icky word, forced to apologize after failed viral face mask prank? Like she just painted a mask on her face and then walked in.
Oh, no, I didn't see.
Nah, it's fine. She's a dummy.
Well, a lot of them are.
Like, who rates these
influencers?
Things? My girlfriend asked me to sleep with her twin sister, and I don't know what to do. Okay, cool.
What are you like? What website are you on that you're seeing all this?
I googled silly news, and I'm on some British site called The Mirror.
Gotcha.
The Mirror News. What? Okay, this will be the final one. Then we'll move on.
Right.
A tattooist, which is I guess what they would call, came under fire after their customer took to Reddit asking if it was reasonable to ask for a discount because they had spent such a long time in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. So when but one customer was left unimpressed recently, and the tattoo artist has hit back by refusing to ink them again. The customer wrote on Reddit that they complained about the cost after the tattoo artist visited the bathroom 7 times during their appointment. He probably should have sat down, and then they wouldn't have to go so often.
Right.
After learning they owed 193 pounds, they asked if the price could be reduced, but were firmly rebuffed. On the Am I an Asshole forum, they wrote, "My tattoo artist charges $125 an hour. My tattoo was done by the hour, and in the end, I was there for a little over 2 hours. So in the end, before a tip, my tattoo was $270, which is 193 pounds. I wouldn't have had an issue with this, but my tattoo artist had gotten up 7 times to use the bathroom and was gone for at least 5 minutes each time and left her timer going. I asked if there's any way I could get the time she was in the bathroom taken off, and she made a face and then kindly said no. I didn't argue, so I just paid and left. She emailed me this morning and asked me not to book with her anymore because she said I disrespected her and her work. I'm upset because she does amazing work, but I don't feel that I was wrong."
Right.
What do you think, Randy? Should she have gotten a discount?
I mean, if you're going in there to get a tattoo, like I expect the tattoo artist to take a break, like if they need to, right? Because that's a lot of strain on your neck and your head and whatever.
Yeah.
But to be constantly up and down and leaving, I'd be like, okay, like, I should have only been here for an hour. I was here for 2 because of that. So
yeah,
I'd probably have a little chat with them for sure.
It really depends because most of the ones that I've had, it starts off as an hourly thing, but then they just give you like a total price,
right?
And then you figure it out from there. So if you want to get up and take a half hour off, it doesn't affect the end price, right?
Right.
But that said, I'd probably fight for that. I'd be like, I would have been here for an hour and 10 minutes instead of an hour and 40.
Yeah.
Then why should I pay for your bathroom time?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I don't know. I get it.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, folks, we're going to get out of here. So go on social media, on all the things. Search for the Two Idiots Podcast and the Two Idiots Show on Twitter. On YouTube, we're Two Idiots Show. Most of our videos don't do that great. So if you want to go watch it there, great. Subscribe. The Darcy Oak episode is killing it, though.
Crushing it.
Check that one out. That was basically the only reason we made a YouTube channel, to try and capitalize on a magician. And
by God, it's working.
It's been climbing. Every time I look, it's climbing. I think last I checked, it had almost 800 views.
Nice.
So he's been a real draw on the old YouTube.
Well, there you go.
So, folks, definitely, if you feel interested enough to listen to us here, check it out. We show some clips and stuff, some screen grabs or whatever sometimes. Yeah, maybe someday we'll do more actual video content, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that.
We'll see what happens. One day at a time.
Yeah, so almost 800 views there. So definitely check out the Two Idiots Podcast everywhere you listen to podcasts. Leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, please, if you're listening to this. 5 stars gives us, helps us grow. It helps us show up on lists and helps other people find us and gets recommended and such. So please leave a 5-star rating if you're on Apple Podcasts, which most of you are, and follow and share and like wherever else.
It'd be much appreciated. You can also get a hold of us by email at doubleidiotspodcast@gmail.com. So any suggestions you have, guests you'd like to see on the show, if you yourself would want to be a guest, that's certainly something we can discuss. And also the dick pics for sure. I'll still rate them. If you're brave enough to send them, I'll rate them. And also, as we said before, hit us up on Patreon, patreon.com/Two Idiots Podcast. We got $3, $5, $7, $10 levels. There's something for everybody there. You get a bunch of bonus content. You get into for merchandise draws at certain levels. We got a little something for everybody around there.
Everybody, something for you all, just to help us keep making the show. Like we mentioned before, podcasting isn't free as much as we wish it was. So it helps kind of take the sting out of it, right? So the more the merrier.
Precisely.
5 more patrons at any level gets you access to our previously unreleased and fucking terrible first podcast.
If that is an incentive to go listen to it, I don't know what to tell you.
It'll be like a cult classic where it's something to listen to because it's bad, not because it's
precisely.
And I haven't even listened to it since I finished editing it 3 years ago, so that will be interesting for all of us.
It'll be a surprise to everybody, for sure.
Yeah, so get after it, folks. We appreciate everybody that does. And at the $7 tier and above, you join the Idiot Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Now, the Idiot Hall of Fame are the people that we give a shout-out to every week because we love you. We love you, and you support us more than anybody else.
You're the best.
The best. So, currently in the Idiot Hall of Fame is Janet Gooden.
Janet Good. And we also have Mr. Mitchell, Buck Pierce Buckers.
Buck Pierce. Buck Pierce. And Brian Moore, who, as we mentioned earlier, a good friend of the show, wonderful human being, nice guy.
Hell of a person. Mm-hmm. We also have Big Drew McDonald, who we also talked about earlier in the show, the standing wiper himself, Drew McDonald.
Yep. And followed by him is Kayla Lundberg on behalf of her and Jordan Peters, friends of ours. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. We love you.
Much appreciated. And last but not least, my mother, Danny Dewick, the mother of the show.
Yes. She's the heart of the podcast.
Yes. Near, far,
wherever you are, I believe. Okay.
God, that was good. I thought I saw.
You like that?
I thought I saw a unicorn at one point.
A unicorn.
Somebody gets the unicorn.
Sam Squanch. It's a Sam Squanch. But yeah, so those are our $7 tier, our favorite people, and you could join them. They get extra shit.
Get your own personal shout out on the Two Idiots podcast.
Yep, just like all those other folks did, and you get the bonus Patreon exclusive episodes. That I agree with Brian. That last one was a heater. I enjoyed that.
It was good. It was fun. It was a great conversation.
I enjoyed that one. Susan thinks my psoriasis is sexy. Sexy.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, thank you for listening. Hope you enjoy. Happy Mother's Day to those that are, this will be a week before, but
Mama, you know I love you.
Keep going.
I love you, Mama. Mama, you're the queen of my heart. Your love is like tears from the stars.
There's the highlight for the episode right there.
Absolutely. I danced to that song with my mother at my wedding. Good old Boys to Men.
BTM. That's great. That made my day. All right, folks. Well, thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed that. I hope you listened this far to get to Randy's little love song.
The hidden bonus.
So, folks, we love you. Hope you have a good day and a good week. And we'll be back next week.
Stay safe out there. Get messy. Make mistakes. Deuces. Hashtag.
Deuces.
Hashtag deuces.